Hi, this is your girl Tanola Cherie, and you're joining me in the Salt Room. Today, I want to have a quick conversation about economic development, right? Um, let's talk about it. And I want to have a real quick conversation. So, I've been seeing a number of articles, right, about various businesses and employers that are coming to the city of Dayton, Ohio, my hometown. And there are some mixed feelings that I'm having, and let me tell you why. And I wish I would have brought a notepad so that I could keep up with my thought process as I'm talking so that I can stay focused on what I really have to say. And so let me preference this conversation by saying that poverty is a form of violence. Okay? Let's start there. So that is the premise of economic development, right? That poverty is violence. Companies, right? And business development. So business development is for businesses and corporations. Economic development is for municipalities and governments, right? They are the same thing. There's just two different sides of the playing fence, right? So oftentimes, because people know that I've been in business development for about 18 years. Every year I say 18 years. I never add a year onto it, right? Because I'll be 25 forever, okay? But people often get into these really detailed conversations with me about my hometown in the city of Dayton and the economic structure and all these great things that the city of Dayton should have, right? And I never like to, and it's usually in the form of people wanting to build businesses and start businesses and things of that nature, right? And so I'm not a pipe dream killer, right? But oftentimes I'm discouraged by some of these conversations because I don't think people understand the totality of the nature of what they're dealing with in the city of Dayton. And so, as a business development specialist, right? Someone who has been in business development for a long time, if I was acting as a consultant for an organization, what I would do is pull up the demographics, right, of a municipality based on the population, the expendable income that is coming into that particular municipality, and the ability and easeability of working with the municipality and the local whoever has jurisdiction of the taxes, right? Which is the county here in the city of Dayton. Those three entities have to work together like a hand in a glove, right? So expendable income has to be in the area that people have extra money to spend, right? That the municipality, there's some easeability in negotiating with the municipality when it comes to certain amenities, accesses, licenses, permits, things of that nature, right? That's the second. And then the third one is how can I negotiate with the governing body that handles the taxes and getting some sort of negotiated tax rate for my business, because oftentimes the biggest expenditure, right, are real estate taxes for businesses. So all of those things need to line up, right? And so, based on the fact that all of those three expenditures make a good business case, then I would make a recommendation to that organization whether they should move forward in starting a where they should locate their business, right? And so, when we talk about the city of Dayton, the reason why there are no businesses in the city of Dayton, or these large infrastructures of organizations coming within in the city limits, and they seem to always go to the suburbs, is number one, there is no expendable income in the city of Dayton, right? And so some people may say, well, in the city, well, I earn a decent living. My family is earning a decent living. And so someone like me, a business development specialist, would already have demographic information based on how many units need to be sold per customer for that organization to not just survive, right? People and corporations, businesses are not only small businesses, right? Or only entrepreneurs are in it to for the sake of surviving, right? But corporations, big business, and even some small businesses, right? Because you can have 500 employees and still be considered a small business, right? And so they are looking at thriving as an organization, right? Where will they get the most ROI, return on investment, for the money that they have to put into their organization, their business, in order to get it up and running? How they compensate on the other end of that thing to be able to support not just their payroll, but that their business is thriving, right? People are in business to earn income. Corporations are in business to earn income, right? And so the problem with the inner city of Dayton and some other inner cities is there is not enough expendable income on the west side within the inner cities that people have the proof that they have the ability they have expendable income, which is extra income, money on top of what they pay out in their bills. Now this is where it's about to get real tricky, right? So the other thing is we're talking about is what municipality is going to work with us the best, right? Who offers easeability within their staff, that we are able to negotiate without a lot of rigmarole, with competence and intelligence and good relationships, right? And so that's part of the setback. When you see businesses deciding to go outside of certain areas, right? So who handles the business, right? Who handles bringing in businesses into municipalities? Now, in particular, all I'm trying to say is that throughout the years, I have brought clients to the city of Dayton, right? And this just so happened, to be before Mayor Whaley took office, right? I don't want people to think that I'm making excuses for her. I do not, right? Because if you think that, then you're going to shut me out and not listen. But what I'm saying is that she's one person, and there is an entire total infrastructure that she expects people to be able to do their jobs, right? And so what I'm saying is I've been doing this for like 18 years, right? I work with local municipalities and I've worked with other municipalities, right? And so I've taken contracts to the city of Dayton, anywhere as little as 500,000 to as much as 2.5 million, right? And I'm not saying contracts like just on paper. I'm saying contracts where, because if I don't do my due diligence as an economic development specialist, then somehow there is the potential that I don't get my pay, right? And of course I'm going to protect my own interests as well. And so I would do my necessary background information and researching and making sure that these companies have the financial fortitude, that they have the relationships with the banks, that they are already pre-approved, that they already have silent investors, or that the revenue is liquid assets that is available to move forward on the projects that they want to negotiate with municipalities, right? That's the other part of my job that I've had to do throughout the years. So when I took those contracts to the city of Dayton, they oftentimes they didn't get anywhere, right? Because there has been this insistent fear, which I call the power conflict, right? And so who brings the money to the table is important within this city. All right. I wasn't even trying to go here. I wasn't really even trying to go here. I wasn't trying to go here. I just wanted to give like some general information to be done with it. But who brings money to the table is very, very instrumental and important, right? So depending on how people view you will determine if they allow you to sit at their table, right? How well do they know you? Are you in their inner circles? Power structures, right? And so you can have a $10 million contract. But if the power conflict theory is based around the fact that they don't think that they don't want to relinquish that power to you, right? They don't want to relinquish that power to your network or people like you, your kind, right? Then it can potentially prevent strategic relationships from taking place, right? And so I've worked with the city of Kettering, right? All right. And I've had some very good relationships with the city of Kettering throughout the years. I've helped people place businesses in suburbs, and including city of Kettering was one of them. And so what am I saying is that there are two dynamics taking place. There's a power conflict within the city of Dayton, right? That has been in play for quite some time, right? I said 18 years. Did y'all hear me when I said 18 years? Right. And so, and then the other thing is that when jobs come into the area, right? I can't wait to call this. I'm gonna call the city of Dayton today, and they're always so friendly and kind, when I call over there, right? It 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 is. What was I about to say? Because I'm trying to keep this conversation kind of basic. Have I already said too much? I'm just curious. Did I say too much already? So when you have people negotiating salaries on your behalf, and you don't have nobody in there that look like you, right? You don't have nobody in there that's related to your struggle. When you don't have anybody that understand the disparities and the extreme socioeconomic disadvantage of your community, right? the inequalities of distribution of resources. When you don't have people in politics they got a heart for what you do, like for who you are, who where your family come from, the persistent and perpetual issues within your community, when you don't have people in politics looking out for your best interests, then you have people that are negotiating salaries that you can't survive on. So when these companies come into the area, right, then they negotiate ahead of time how much they going what their salaries look like. Did you not just see where the city of New York ran Google out somewhere, right? So Google is coming here. They ran them out of New York because they was holding them accountable, right? To what benefit packages, what salaries they was going to pay. Is it coincidence that all of a sudden now they come in here, right? And so am I saying that Google is a bad company? I'm not, right? Because I've been on the other end of that thing, right? As an as a business development specialist, that's good, right? That's good that we found somebody that's willing to accept, or it could be. I'm going to give Google the benefit of the doubt, right? And I'm going to potentially say that the salaries, I'm going to be optimistic and say that New York, that the cost of living was too high in New York, right? And so Google was able to locate here because our cost of living was much lower, and it fit their business case better to be located in an economic infrastructure where the cost of living is lower. So I'm gonna give Google the benefit of the doubt, right? And because I think that they're going to be, if they're not paying that little $12 an hour, right? Because can't nobody really survive off of $10, $12 an hour. Can we be honest and say that? Huh? People can barely survive. I don't know. Are people surviving off $15 an hour, right? If they talking about making the minimum wage $15 an hour, right? If they even having that conversation, will you have expendable income if you make $15 an hour? How many hours a week do you have to work to be able to still afford your cost of living at $15 an hour, right? And so that's what it is. It is what it is, right? That's what it is, right? And so somebody has to show up and be for the people. Do you hear what I'm saying? Somebody has to, and I'm so passionate about this, right? That I'm just hoping I'm going to assume that people hear me and hear me clearly, right? But every individual, every person has the right? We talk about the pursuit of happiness, right? Liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That's what our Constitution talks about, right? That you have the right to freedom and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. You deserve the ability to be able to drive your kid to Kings Island that's right up the street and take them there to spend a night, for vacation for 2 to 3 days, right? Maybe you can't take your kids to Hawaii, but you deserve to be able to take your kids to Kings Island. You deserve to be able to go out and eat a steak dinner. So expendable income, right? The reasons why places like Applebee's are no longer here. The reasons why places like the Salem Mall are not on the west side of Dayton. Because technically, they're saying that you don't have expendable income on the west side. Somebody finding a way though, right? Because we still taking our money and we buying it, right? So we still taking our money other places. Now that's the third dynamic, right? We still finding a way to take our money other places. We just going outside of our own community and spending it, right? And so that is the other dynamic, right? And And I really ain't even got time to get into that. I don't have time to broach that one. But people always find the money to do what it is that they need to do and want to do, right? And so that is the basis. That is the good and the evil between economic development and business development. Yeah. And so that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right. And so I will talk to you guys soon, and thank you so much for joining.